The history of Israel is long, complex, and deeply intertwined with religious, cultural, and geopolitical factors. It spans thousands of years from ancient times to the modern state of Israel, established in 1948. Below is an outline of key events and phases in the history of Israel, from its ancient origins to the present. 1. Ancient Israel, circa 2000 BCE to 70 CE. Biblical foundations, circa 2000 BCE to 1000 BCE. The history of Israel is traditionally traced back to the patriarchs of the Hebrew Bible, particularly Abraham, who is considered the founding father of the Israelites. According to the Bible, God promises Abraham that his descendants will inherit the land of Canaan, modern-day Israel and Palestine. Abraham's descendants, Isaac and Jacob, later named Israel, form the foundation of the 12 tribes of Israel. Jacob's sons become the ancestors of the 12 tribes. Exodus and the formation of Israel, circa 1300 BCE to 1000 BCE. The Israelites, enslaved in Egypt, are led out of bondage by Moses in a story known as the Exodus, estimated around the 13th century BCE. This marks the beginning of Israel's identity as a people with a covenant with God. After wandering in the desert for 40 years, the Israelites settle in Canaan under Joshua's leadership. The united monarchy circa 1000 BCE to 930 BCE. The kingdom of Israel is unified under the rule of King Saul, the first king of Israel, followed by King David circa 1000 BCE, who establishes Jerusalem as the capital. King Solomon, David's son, builds the first temple in Jerusalem, solidifying the religious and political center of the Israelites. After Solomon's death, the kingdom divides into two parts: the Kingdom of Israel, Northern Kingdom; the Kingdom of Judah, Southern Kingdom with Jerusalem as its capital. 2. The divided kingdoms and foreign rule, 930 BCE, 586 BCE. Israel and Judah under foreign powers, Assyrian conquest, 8th century BCE. The Northern Kingdom of Israel is conquered by the Assyrian Empire, 722 BCE. Leading to the exile of the 10 northern tribes, the 10 lost tribes. Babylonian conquest, 586 BCE. The southern kingdom of Judah falls to the Babylonians under King Nebuchadnezzar II, resulting in the destruction of the first temple and the exile of many Jews to Babylon. This marks the beginning of the Jewish diaspora. Third Persian, Hellenistic, and Roman rule, 539 BCE, 70 CE, Persian period, 539 BCE, 332 BCE. The Persian Empire conquers Babylon and allows the Jews to return to Judah, where they rebuild the Second Temple in Jerusalem. This period is marked by the religious and cultural renewal of the Jewish people. Hellenistic period, 332 BCE to 63 BCE. Following Alexander the Great's conquest of the Persian Empire, the region comes under Hellenistic rule. The Seleucid dynasty, ruling from Syria, imposes Greek culture and religion, which leads to the Maccabean Revolt, 167 BCE, and the establishment of the independent Hasmonean Kingdom. Roman rule, 63 BCE, 70 CE. The Roman Empire takes control of Judea in 63 BCE, initially appointing local rulers like Herod the Great. The Second Temple is renovated by Herod, but tensions with Roman rule lead to the Great Jewish Revolt, 66 to 73 CE. In 70 CE, the Romans destroy the Second Temple, marking a significant turning point in Jewish history. Fourth, Jewish diaspora and medieval period, 70 CE, 1492 CE. After the destruction of the Second Temple and the defeat in the Bar Kokhba Revolt, 132 to 135 CE, the majority of Jews are dispersed across the Roman Empire and beyond, entering a long period of exile, the diaspora. Jews live in various parts of the world, including Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, often facing persecution, discrimination, and expulsion, e.g. from Spain in 1492. 5. Modern Zionism and the birth of the State of Israel, late 19th century, 1948. Rise of Zionism, late 1800s. In the late 19th century, Theodor Herzl, a Hungarian Jewish journalist, promotes the idea of a Jewish homeland in Palestine as a response to European anti-Semitism. This movement becomes known as Zionism. Many Jews begin migrating to Palestine, then part of the Ottoman Empire, in what is called the First Aliyah, 1882 to 1903. British Mandate, 1917 to 1948. After World War I, Britain gains control of Palestine under a League of Nations mandate. The Balfour Declaration, 1917, expresses British support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, exacerbating tensions between Jews and Arabs in the region. Jewish immigration to Palestine increases during the 1920s and 1930s, especially due to the rise of Nazi persecution in Europe. World War II and the Holocaust, 1939 to 1945. The Holocaust, in which 6 million Jews are systematically murdered by Nazi Germany, significantly impacts the global Jewish community and increases support for the creation of a Jewish state. United Nations Partition Plan, 1947. In 1947, the United Nations proposes a partition plan to resolve the conflict between Jews and Arabs in Palestine, which divides the land into separate Jewish and Arab states. The Jewish leadership accepts the plan, but it is rejected by the Arab states and Palestinian Arabs. 6. The State of Israel, 1948, present. Declaration of Independence, 1948. On May 14, 1948, David Ben-Gurion declares the establishment of the State of Israel. The surrounding Arab states immediately invade, marking the start of the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. By the end of the war, 1949, Israel secures its independence and controls a larger territory than initially allocated by the UN plan. Approximately 700,000 Palestinian Arabs become refugees, a key issue in the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Subsequent wars and peace efforts. The Suez Crisis, 1956. Israel, the UK, and France attack Egypt in response to Egypt's nationalization of the Suez Canal, but the conflict is resolved through diplomatic pressure, especially from the US and USSR. The Six-Day War, 1967. Israel defeats Egypt, Jordan, and Syria, gaining control of the West Bank, Gaza Strip, Sinai Peninsula, and the Golan Heights. The war leads to the occupation of Palestinian territories, a central issue in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Yom Kippur War, 1973. Egypt and Syria launch a surprise attack on Israel, but Israel eventually repels the offensive. This leads to peace negotiations, culminating in the Camp David Accords, 1978, between Israel and Egypt, with Egypt recognizing Israel and Israel returning the Sinai Peninsula. Oslo Accords, 1993. The Oslo Accords mark the first direct negotiations between Israel and the Palestinian Liberation Organization, PLO, leading to limited Palestinian self-rule in parts of the West Bank and Gaza. 21st century Second Intifada, 2000 to 2005. A period of intense Palestinian-Israeli violence erupts, following the collapse of peace talks and the visit of Israeli politician Ariel Sharon to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Gaza conflicts. Israel withdraws from the Gaza Strip in 2005, but conflicts with Hamas, the Islamist group controlling Gaza, persist. There have been multiple military operations between Israel and Hamas, resulting in heavy casualties on both sides. Abraham Accords, 2020. Israel signs normalization agreements with the United Arab Emirates, UAE, Bahrain, Sudan, and Morocco, marking a shift in the Middle East diplomatic landscape. 7. Contemporary issues: Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the status of Jerusalem, Israeli settlements in the West Bank, the rights of Palestinian refugees, and the recognition of a Palestinian state are key issues in the ongoing conflict. Security concerns. Israel continues to face threats from militant groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon and Iranian influence in Syria. The Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, maintain a strong military presence in the region. Domestic politics. Israel's political landscape is often fragmented, with numerous parties representing a wide range of ideologies, from secular to religious, left-wing to right-wing. Conclusion. The history of Israel is marked by a deep connection to its ancient past, the challenges of exile, the trauma of the Holocaust, and the ongoing struggle for peace and security in the face of regional tensions and internal divisions. The modern state of Israel exists amid a complex geopolitical environment with a deep historical and religious significance for Jews, Muslims, and Christians alike.